Freedom. 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 Freedom.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rich Masotti. Welcome to Sync in 4/4. I've got to tell you, I've been familiar with that song for almost 10 years now, and backstage, I'm still doing this in my seat because the blood is pumping through my veins. And even though we've been working on this for months now, I'm super excited. In a way, grateful to be celebrating a little bit of my own freedom, but more on that later. This is Sync in 4/4, the official podcast, the official series of 4/4 Sync and Publishing, if you will. We'll be joining you. You'll be joining us every week in both the audio realm and the video world, YouTube and etc., to not to sit and watch and consume things like you usually do, but to join us for some very special conversations. And I would not be able to have those conversations if it weren't for the two people I'm about to bring out. And we wouldn't be here tonight, to some degree, if it weren't for the song you just heard playing. Freedom by E.P. Wolfe. E.P. and the Gates of Dawn is something we're gonna talk about for quite some time. But before all that, and before the conversations, it's important you get to know us and get to know who we are and why we are Boutique AF. Here is my partner.
What's up, my man?
Thank you. E.P. Wolfe, the founder of 4/4 Sync and Publishing. We're here, buddy.
Yeah, man. I know it's been quite the trip, and it's awesome. I'm really excited for this launch. I'm excited for this podcast. I'm excited to talk to musicians, to artists, to business people, to whoever, and how music affects their life. I know how it affects our lives, and just something just to stay real and keep real. And I love talking about music. I can talk about it all day long. As you know, that's how our friendship started.
It's exactly how our friendship started, and yeah. I want to tell everybody all about that, but I don't want to leave the better looking part of our trio backstage for too long. So let's bring out Chloe. Hi, Chloe.
No, I'm the better looking part of the trio. I respectfully disagree.
We're like an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. You're
I'm like the hard chocolate cookie part. That's a little stale.
You are the hard cookie part, and I'm the squishy in the middle. Yes. Exactly.
Okay, good, because I am definitely not
You're
So-
not
Vanilla.
you're not vanilla, bro. That's for
Definitely
sure.
not vanilla.
No.
Chloe, welcome, doll. It's so great to finally have you and EP here to do this.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing.
Long waited.
And
like, really.
you two go back way further than EP and
Oh,
I do. But we were
Let's not
talking
talk
about
years, but like 2 eons.
oh my
Two
gosh.
eons.
Yeah.
I don't
Actually-
know what eon means, but it's a long time. So
Yeah.
a long time.
And Chloe was introduced, that one of the main writers of 4/4 Sync and Publishing is a guy named Keegan Thompson, who I worked with in a band called Channel, and we wrote some killer stuff. And him and Chloe were friends, and he was saying like, "Yo, you got to meet this person. She's coming to the show, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, dude." I'm like, "Tell me about the other 20 girls that are waiting for you backstage." Guy was a fucking animal. Anyway, so Keegan and I played in a band together, and he's actually one of the main writers of when you send in a request for a if we get a request for a custom song, he's our go-to guy for lyrics and that kind of stuff. So I was introduced to Chloe through him, and then we all just remained really good friends. Yeah,
That's fantastic. And that was where the band was together back when, just to give everybody a reference point.
I don't even know. I think I had hair.
You did.
I think it's when I
Without it for some weird reason. No, for some weird reason, because actually that always looks pretty good on guys.
yeah. But I think it's when I had 4 abs. Now I'm down to 1.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be glad you don't have a barrel, okay? Because
No, and we're gonna talk about that, Chloe, and we're gonna talk about
yes.
that's definitely gonna come up. And
But I kind of want to bring into this conversation how I met Rich as well, because obviously I know you, we go back eons, but how I met Rich.
How'd you meet Rich?
Well, obviously it was through you, but then he came, we invited him to come up to my neck of the woods for a week and stayed with us, and it was great fun, and we got to know each other, and we realized that we need to do this together.
Yes,
This is what
agreed. Agreed. No, the
for you.
we sat around a dinner table, and it was like, yeah, this.
And wait, excuse me, we sat around the kitchen sink.
Right.
We did, because I was cooking and you were all over there, and it was kitchen sink.
We talked about everything but the kitchen sink.
That's right.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
That's
And that's how I think this kind of just started. With your idea, obviously, in the car, which you're going to talk about. But then it's all us meeting and just putting a few things together and just doing this, which is a lot of fun. And I think a lot of people, all of you, really think going to enjoy, like, us just being us and doing this. I think it's
absolutely
amazing.
It's been a lot of work putting this together, and it's been a grind, and but it's like it's like anything else. It's like a good song, when you're writing, when you're sitting down with your guitar and all of a sudden a song pops out, you're like, where did that come from? Like the whole thing. And I remember when this idea came to me, it was like that. It was like a song. It was like I didn't have to think about the beginning, the middle, and the end. It was there. It was like it was the whole idea was just like that. And and to see it now finally coming to fruition, and especially we have America's birthday coming up. We have it's like we're launching this thing at like a time of celebration. And I think that it's fallen together the way it's supposed to, but man, it's been a lot of work, but it's a work of passion, and so you're working during the day, you're coming home, you're working on the web, you're working on your contacts, you're working on developing all your all the stuff, and you don't care if you're like, oh my god, it's 3 a.m, I got to be up at 7 for work. You're like, okay, you go to bed, you sleep, get up, and then you come back and do it all over again, because you're right. It's like you're like, this is great, And
Right.
so it's
Sounds like a musician.
yeah, or look,
Artist, entertainer.
you hear
Artist.
I heard stories about Bill Gates and living on sugar sticks in their garage and sleeping like 2 hours a night, and while they're putting together Microsoft. I mean, anybody that has to do like this is my calling. It's a thing of passion, and it's not just limited to music. It's limited to entrepreneurs, founders, like visionaries, like artists. It's anybody that puts everything and a half into something. It's something that is there's something driving you to do it, and so it doesn't feel like work, even though sometimes talking to you guys.
Yeah, tell me about it. I have to produce the show. So what drove you? What drove you? You said something's got to drive you. What EP? What drove you to? What drove you to reach out to us and get this thing rolling?
Well, it's quite the story, but I was living in New York and Brooklyn, and I had a family, right, and the mom and I didn't work out, and so when the pandemic hit, they moved out to Newport, Rhode Island, to get out of New York, which was cool, and I was going back and forth, and it was becoming more and more difficult to see my daughter. So I lived in New York for 30 years, so I decided to get up and move to Rhode Island so I could be 5 minutes from my daughter and start it over. It was not easy. Rhode Island is a very small state. It's also it has a lot of nepotism. So, because it's so small, for me being a New Yorker, trying to get work in Rhode Island was not easy because people are very, everybody there knows somebody that could do the job that I could do. So why are they going to hire me rather than someone that they've known for 20 years, So I had to really, really grind. I went, as a sales guy, I'm in sales because I decided that road life wasn't for me. I love writing songs. I really enjoy playing music, but I like playing music on my terms. I don't like playing music. I'm not a hired gun. I don't enjoy being on stage playing someone else's music. Now, mind you, if Pink or it all depends on who's hiring you. But I always felt like I was cheating the crowd when I was playing on stage someone else's music. It just didn't feel good to me. You know what I mean? Even though you get your moments to shine, you're still playing what you're being told to play, and that made music feel like a job to me. So, I was fortunate enough to have an upbringing where my family had a really cool wholesale business. So I really got to, when I wasn't working with the band on the road, I was jumping into their showrooms and picking up clipboards, taking orders, talking to retailers. And so I really got a feel for the two different worlds. So, when you're a musician too, you're always out there selling your band, selling your t-shirts, selling your CDs, selling your tickets. You're trying to get people to your shows. So for musicians, it's a natural fit to be in sales because you're always, it's natural for us, especially for the ones that make it, you have to sell yourself. And so I moved out to Rhode Island. The problem with being in sales is that the salespeople are usually the first person the company hires because they need sales, and you're also the first person that they fire. When a budget starts getting constrained, you've built the pipeline. They don't really need you anymore as much as they need, the bartenders, the waiters, the event staff, this, that, whatever company it is. You're the first in, the first out.
Right.
So, I lived in Rhode Island for about 5 years. The last year it got really hairy. And, it just, I was struggling to, the last job that I had was extremely up and down. It wasn't consistent. I kind of, for 6 months, I had a studio in my apartment. I wasn't really touching my guitar. And in Rhode Island, they have this law that landlords can raise your rent to market value. So my apartment went in a period of 4.5 years from $1,200 a month to $2,100 a month, and there was nothing I could do about it. And I was not really feeling Rhode Island, and I was also it wasn't easy for me to build a community there. So I was kind of in this flux of, my daughter was 14. She wanted to hang out with her friends on the weekends. And I had spent enough time with my daughter that I was there for her during where she needed me emotionally. But now she's like a really mature young woman. She's so beautiful, and she's so smart, and she's so independent. And so I realized at that point that what my daughter is going to need from me now going forward is more financial support. She's going to need a dad that's like, she can count on when she needs something, right? So I started getting a little antsy, and I had lost my mom last year. And I just, that kind of losing my mom was kind of the catalyst of like, what am I doing? Where am I going? I've always been passionate about music, but so I'm sitting in my apartment. I had packed up the whole apartment. I moved it into a storage unit. I had a great conversation with my daughter, and I said, "Look, I need to get back to New York. It's where I belong. There's more opportunities." And she was like, "Okay, that's cool." And I found myself in my apartment, and I was at like a spiritual bottom, I'm not really like a huge partier or anything like that. It's like I wasn't going out to bars. I wasn't, going out to, it was just, I was kind of like, I didn't have a community. I didn't have any close friends. All my close friends were, from either Westchester or New York or, parts of Connecticut, but nobody in Rhode Island, I had a lot of acquaintances, but, not really anybody. And all of a sudden I started just feeling just alone, and I was like, what am I going to do? I was like, I don't know what to do. My family is scattered, we're not really that close. My family is kind of, distant. And I was having I was just going through like these really like just weird thoughts, bad thoughts. And I started thinking to myself, because I have a really strong spiritual belief, and I think, it's, to me, it's like, whatever. I don't want to get into a spiritual conversation, but I believe that, for me, God is like this energy that's all of us, and it's like, it's all connected. And I started thinking to myself this weird, like, at first I was thinking, maybe I can do more good on the other side for my daughter, for what I want to do. And then I was like, nah, man, I'm too good looking. I can't do that shit. So I was thinking, look, all my stuff's in storage. Let me just like go to Tibet for like a year or 2 years or 3 years. And I just wanted to disappear, And so I had this thought in my head. I started putting together letters of like, just, saying goodbye to people. I wrote, the one thing that really kind of made me start thinking was like, I started writing a letter to my daughter, and I was like, I can't say goodbye to my daughter. Like, there's no way, there's no way. And so I started writing a letter to, I mentioned earlier that, Keegan and I were in a band called Channel, and the music is owned by a gentleman named AJ Maltese, myself, and Keegan. And AJ passed away. And so I was writing a letter to Keegan, not a letter. I wasn't writing a letter, but I was writing an email to Keegan to let him know that I wanted to give him the rights to the publishing, because all of the publishing rights and recordings are owned by the Maltese family and myself, and the master recordings and all that. So I was writing a letter to Keegan, and I was like, oh my God, I don't have Keegan's email. And so I called Keegan, and I was like, hey man, I wanted to get your email address. and he put me on speakerphone, and Chloe chimed in, and I guess they were at home together, and I said, hey guys, like, look, I'm like, I'm going to check out for a
You
while.
were walking on the meadows.
Oh, you were?
You were.
That's awesome.
You
So
would like to know that.
yeah, that's cool.
Safe space. That's a space where you can think.
Yeah. So I got them. So they were on the phone, and I said, look, guys, I'm going through a really, really like just difficult time. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm thinking about getting out of here for like a long time. And then all of a sudden Chloe was in the background. She's like, well, why don't you come up here? What are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. She's like,
I
well,
said, why don't you come and hang out with us for a little while and
yeah. And
see how it goes and figure stuff out.
yeah, totally. And Chloe was like, well, when are you thinking? And I was like, well, how about tomorrow?
I'm like, excuse me, I have to clean the house.
I was like, I don't know. I was like, but
you came the next day, I think, or 2 days later or something.
yeah. And then, so all of a sudden, this whole entire dark cloud that was around me, all of a sudden I had this like little spark of hope. And because I felt incredibly alone where I was, and I just didn't know. I had no idea what I was going to do, and it's the first time in my life that I've ever felt like that. I just felt alone, tired, and just kind of done, and hearing Chloe's little chirpy voice in the background, why don't you come here? And then all of a sudden it was like there was a little bit of light through this black cloud, and I was like, and it just, hope is strong, and as you know, Rich, one of my favorite songs is Hope, and that's what that whole song is about. Everybody needs somebody to bring them hope, and so all of a sudden there was like this little inkling of maybe everything's going to be okay, and so I left. 2 days later, I got in my car and I called the guys, and I was like, hey man, I'm heading up there. And as I was going over the Newport Bridge, which is one of the most epic bridges you'll ever go over, and I'm at the top of the bridge, I'm getting ready to come down the other side, and I just had this weird idea, just like, Greg, like, you're going to a house where you're going where a writer lives that you guys created some great music together. And his wife, Chloe, is just like a super huge light that just lights up every room that she walks into. And I was like, wow, this is like, and then all of a sudden it was like almost like, it's like writing, like I think I explained, it's like writing a song, and the song just popped into my head. It was like, I was like, you know what? Everybody that you've ever known has always said, Greg, you need to get your music into television, into movies, it just belongs there. Like, every time I hear your music, I just feel like I'm watching some Lifetime special, like about like the cancer kid who makes it, or the guy that catches the football in the end zone, or
right.
And all of a sudden I was like, yeah. And my mom had passed away, and she didn't have a lot of money, but she left us a little bit of something, and all of a sudden it was like I could hear my mom saying, you better not waste that money, and you better put that money into something that's meaningful and involves your music. And all of a sudden I was like, maybe that should be the shot. Maybe trying to break into sync licensing as a writer is a really difficult job, but what about become the industry? Why not become the person that people come to for music rather than pitching constantly? And as I was coming down the bridge, I was like, fucking A, right? And I started getting like a little bit excited, and I said, I'm not going to be able to do this alone. Who am I calling? And I was like, Rich fucking Masotti. I was like, I got to call Rich right now. And actually, and it's knowing you, the fact that you picked up the phone is a miracle. You
Mhm.
know, it's
Mhm.
your
No,
not.
it's called destiny.
Yeah.
No miracle, it's destiny.
Destiny was a stripper that I used to hang out with.
Oh, you too?
Totally, man. She was the double Destiny. But you picked up the phone and I said, dude, I've got this idea. And before I could even say anything, you're like, yeah, good, I'm in.
Mhm.
But I just said, look, man, I think, and it's not just about me. I know a lot of artists that deserve a shot. Like they, or at least a home, like a place where they can say, hey, go check out this website. My music's on there. And I didn't realize the amount of work it was going to take, but of course, I'm an artist, everything
Yep.
comes, it's like, yeah, just do it for me. And so we spoke and I said, dude, I think we can do this, but that what you do with podcasts is so great. And I think we should like do this and do a podcast along with it. And maybe the idea started forming and I was
Right.
like, look, I'm going up to my friends, Keegan and Chloe's and we're going to be hanging out there. And, why don't we talk? And how do you remember it? I mean,
Well, yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, you were in the car, you were en route.
yeah,
A lot was changing, and yeah, once you presented the idea, I think a day later, maybe a couple hours later, you got to Chloe and Keegan's,
yeah,
and got a chance just to sort of see them and catch up and do that thing first.
yep, yep.
And it only took a minute, and you were like, "Holy shit, Rich! I mean, it sounds like they're connecting with this idea."
Yeah, totally.
And then okay, so let's put all our heads together and
Yeah.
more than our heads, right? Chloe will
And,
tell you.
and Chloe, you mentioned the other day, you were like, Greg, you were really smart.
No,
You were
no,
like,
I have to say this is it because it was just on my mind. So it's like when Greg came here, he didn't go, oh, I have this idea. We can do this and we can do that. He goes, look, Chloe, I'm setting this thing up. I'm going to call this and this, and you're going to be part of it. And that's it. And no choice, no thinking about it. And I go, yeah, okay. And then and it was like there was no, but it was really, really weird because it was just like that. It wasn't like I have an idea. You said you're doing this, and
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Because normally I'm like I do what I want to do, and nobody tells me. But on this situation, somebody said you're doing this, and I went okay.
It's a great point because I could even
Yeah,
from my end of the phone, I could hear his gears switch from as you mentioned, pretty down and out to I have this idea to fuck it, Rich. I'm leaving Rhode Island
yeah.
and I want to do this.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
And
it's
here we
strange
are.
because when we were walking and I, chimed in on the phone call because, obviously I heard, how you doing, darling? We hadn't talked for a long time. I I've worked with you a lot in the past. I know you, so I heard something that wasn't quite right,
yeah, yeah,
and I was just like, let's hang out for a bit, let's see,
yeah.
what Dr. Chloe can do.
Yeah, and that is
And you have, wait a minute, remarkably, you have. No.
Oh, lots of kills and beats.
No, I mean, listen, this guy's, I saw him at my sister's pool. His weight is down. His skin has been different.
yeah.
Whatever
No,
you all are doing works.
Chloe is like she's just
So
like
connected.
changed my entire lifestyle. Like she's got me on these
No, you changed it.
well,
You
I
just listened to me and you changed it. I didn't
yeah,
change
well,
it. You
you can't
listened. I
if
didn't
you're in
change
Chloe's house, you have to listen to Chloe. There's no way about it, unless you really want, like,
Well, it's my palace. It's my rules. Your rules, your rules, whatever.
tell people where you get all your bear.
Everything you kill in my house, you eat it.
That's right, and I'll tell you though, Chloe, her company Go to Health is awesome, and I highly recommend it, and it's totally changed my life. But
Mhm.
it's I didn't at first I did it. I was like, I'll try it. It wasn't really, I feel like I was pretty healthy, but since I had been here, I think I've shed about 15, maybe even how much weight do you think I've lost?
Me, I think at
Humada,
least.
humada.
Yeah, probably 20, right? But it's
Because I
these,
made him clean the floors and clean the house and dust, whatever. No,
yeah,
but
I'm like Cinderella, bro. And
yes,
I even bought a French maid's
I
outfit.
dream.
It's
I
kind of
dream
hot.
my whole life with my personal Cinderella.
Yeah,
My personal Cinderella.
No, but shit,
Also
I
eating
do have to say, like,
outside.
yeah, and I have to say, like, I'm eating less meat. I'm eating a lot of salads. I'm also eating like Beyond Meat. There's a company, Juicy Marbles, from where are they from, Chloe? Are they?
Somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, it's a European company, but
Mhm.
she gave it to me for the first time, and I was like, okay, this really is no joke. This does taste like a steak. Like
Nice.
and
Wow.
I like and really, really good. And the one thing I have to say, without getting, I'll use a medical term, like I can I can go poo poo, and I
Mhm.
don't even need toilet paper. It like just it's like, yeah, dude, it's like pristine, bro.
I will provide it either way. You know,
That's awesome. Hey, listen, that's a good thing when you don't
it
have to
makes you feel,
worry.
but you have
Yeah.
a different type of energy too. You definitely
Yeah.
do. There's certain nights when I go out for dinner or whatever, and I eat something I crap or whatever, which you do sometimes. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. But when I eat like I normally eat, I'm like, I bounce out of bed, so I almost trip over myself,
Yeah.
if
But
not one of the cats.
yeah,
But
but no,
just
I feel I feel good. Like but I don't like, I'm not miserable. I don't miss anything.
Hmm.
Like Chloe, just give a basic rendition of like like the seeds and the proteins and all that. I don't want to get so far down health
I don't
lane
want to.
because
I don't want to get deep into this, but
yeah,
basically, it's balancing what you eat and not make it complicated. That's rule number one in eating healthy. If it becomes complicated, nobody wants to do it because it's so easy to go buy pizza,
yeah.
Hmm.
Totally.
right?
I
And
did
you
that
don't
today,
want to
by the
end
way.
up there because we are all so busy and nobody has freaking time to do so. So my
Yeah,
idea with good health is
yeah,
make it easy.
yeah,
And obviously that's very a lot of
yeah,
talking about how to make it easy so
yeah,
everybody can eventually go to my Facebook page and all this when I go to health, which is different
yeah,
if they want to know all of that. But basic, just to make it very basically and very fast, is about balancing your freaking life.
yeah.
You see,
So yeah, and it's just been awesome, dude. So it's been a total life change, and getting to hang out too with Keegs has been just awesome, and so it's just been good. And and as I was driving up here, um, it reminded me of the one of the first songs that I ever wrote. Like, people always tell you you can't do something, you shouldn't sing, you're not really, maybe you should be a rhythm guitarist, maybe you should just quit music. Have you thought about doing something else? And I remember when one of my band channel ended, and I was like, you know what, I'm so tired of trying to put together bands. I'm just fuck it, I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna sing. And that was I wrote this song called Look at Me Now, which, because when the album was halfway being done, I was like, holy shit, I'm like, this sounds like really good. Like, it's I don't like, because for me, I've always loved like the Who and Zeppelin and Queen, and
Hmm.
I can't sing like those guys, but I feel them, I love those
Yeah.
guys. And I'm like, so if I can't sing like who I love, I'm not really a singer, but I have melodies and ideas. And I was in the studio with one of my favorite people in the world, Joe Hogan, who I've worked with a lot. He's one of the greatest engineers out of New York City. He's one of the coolest guys. And I called up Joe and I said, dude, let's go into the studio. I want to record some stuff. And so we rented a studio it was like right off of Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. And it was a studio that David Lee Roth used to hash out ideas. He rented it out all the time. And so we went into the studio, we started recording, and it was like everyone in the studio was like, oh my God, this is like the song Sunshine. Free. That's where Freedom was born. And Freedom was the first song we ever recorded. And I had 20 people in the studio. When you listen to it, I had 20 people around the microphone all going, freedom.
I love that.
Freedom. And it was like, and then all of a sudden it just started to build. And so, you know, we were in the studio for like 5 days. So the third night I wrote Look at Me Now, because I was like, look at me now, mother. Like, all the doubters, all the people that said I couldn't do this, all like, fuck you. Like, look at me now, you know? And that song was born out of like, I listened to other people, like, but I still kept going forward. They didn't stop me. Little bits of doubt start creeping into your head. Like, God, maybe I shouldn't do this. You know, I can't imagine what major stars go through. You know, when you see their social media accounts and they're being bashed all day, but they still keep going. But imagine if this world was a place where everyone just supported each other. Like, well, then, you know, everyone would sound like Barry Manilow or something, like flowers, pretty fields. You know, you wouldn't have angry music. So I went in the studio and I'm like, guys, I got this track. We got to throw this together, man. I'm going to get an extra day in the studio. Let's spend some time doing this. And because I just want to tell everyone that told me that I couldn't do this, you can't sing, you can't do front your own band. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to say, you know.
Take a look at me now. It's not a sleight of hand. There's no rhyme or reason. And just take me as I am. And just take me as I am. No need to look around. I got something to believe in. I'm never lost, never found. So take a look at me now. Take a look now. You take a look at me now. A different day, a different season. I'm the sun through the clouds. A ray of hope you can breathe in and breathe out. So breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. You take a look at me now. Take a look at me now. You take a look at me now. Take a look now. Take a look at
Oh man,
Ah,
that brings back memories, dude.
E
good
O
stuff.
E
Good
E.
stuff.
Yeah, man. I love that. It makes me wanna sing that right now. It's awesome. But I,
You're,
I always love that. Like, I'm a ray of hope. You can breathe in,
yeah.
breathe
Well, this is
out.
how many times in the car have I sent you like a screenshot because one of your songs comes up just on my shuffle or something? And this is what happens every time your songs come on. I end up wanting to sing them or something else.
Yeah,
It's just not only do you have that sort of cinematic way of writing
yeah,
and arranging music,
yeah.
but I always
You
want to
know,
sing along.
it's like that perfect song for, like, how many athletes have you heard, like, where they're told, they're never going to make it? And like, athletes have very similar drive as artists and race car drivers. And, it's like you could hear that song in that Formula One movie. Like, it's like, it's just that song of like overcoming the odds and being like, take a look at me now, because it's that drive. It's that if no one ever tells you no, you're never going to want to push yourself to become better,
Mhm.
because inside what you're capable of. So you just have to convince everybody that, you're good. And it goes back to that primate, like when you're 14 and you're attracted to that girl and she's totally like, and you're like, I'm going to show her, man. And that drives you, like, you get onto the football team, or you start
Well,
doing
I
things
remember
like,
that when I used to think that girl, yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm not just saying boy. I'm not just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying boys. I mean, it go look. I mean, females have been being told no a lot longer than boys have. But like Chloe. I mean, you growing up as a woman. I mean, did you? Well, like, how many times have you felt like guys were kind of like dismissive of you? Well, probably not you, but
Never.
yeah.
Sorry.
Chloe's an anomaly.
No, sorry, can't go there with you after the never. Well, maybe once or twice, but never.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
a
want
bad
to talk about it.
that's a bad example. But that's why,
Oh, yeah.
when we were putting together the podcast, I was like, I've seen so many podcasts where it's like guys talking about music, and it's like, okay, but you know what? I grew up with 5 sisters. I grew up with a mom that my dad adored. Every time I went to my dad and said, "Hey, can I do this?" He's like, "Talk to your mother." So I've always been more comfortable with women than I have been with men. But also, as a podcast, I think it's great to have a feminine perspective of what we're doing, our industry. And,
Absolutely.
you
But
know,
Ray, it's very interesting because I feel actually completely the opposite because I like my brother was the most important thing in my life, and I always my friends were always guys, not girls. I
yeah,
didn't hang out with girls. I hung out with guys. I don't know how to literally. It's very hard for me to hang out with girls because I
yeah.
don't know how to do it.
Well,
I'm
and
not a girl.
yeah, and
It's
it's all, and that also brings up a good, unfortunately, when you're born kind of with good looks and or natural ability or
I
talent,
wouldn't know. Speak
people.
for yourself.
Well, I know. I mean, I'm just, but people just are hard on you, Anyway, I don't want to get too much into social, that kind of stuff. And but I thought it would be great to have a perspective from the other side as well as our side, and we all come from different, like I am a musician. Rich is like like I just felt like Rich is like one of the he's understands music, like, you meet people that are fans of music, and then you meet people that actually get it. Like, they can tell you, like, hey man, I really like that part. And you're like, you heard that? Like, you get that? Like, and Chloe, I mean, obviously you've been surrounded in music and entertainment your
Well,
whole life.
since I was 15, yeah, I lived
Yeah,
in the music business constantly.
yeah,
Mhm.
And even like did some backing vocals myself and stuff like oh many years, obviously, but it's not my main thing. But I have
right.
definitely always been very involved in the music business,
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm really excited about, all of this has come together, and now I'm really excited to start bringing artists in, I think this whole process is going to be really, really cool. Um,
It really is. It really is.
right.
And
Rich, I mean, Rich, you're also,
Well, how did you get into all of this, Rich?
yeah.
oh, well, I mean, like EP said, anytime EP reaches out and says, oh, usually he doesn't, I'll just get like a text message and there'll be a track attached. And I'm like, oh shit, and it's just an honor. It's an honor that anybody creating music thinks to send them to me before they're finished. So it usually starts like that. I will do anything I can to be supportive when it comes to EP's music. But when he approached with this idea, so when he reached out with this idea, I couldn't help but to want to listen. I knew he was going through something tough. And one of the beautiful things going on here, Chloe, as you know already, is that several of us involved or initially involved or currently involved all seem to be approaching crossroads at the same time. We're all in a position where, the day job is what it is, if there is one. There's just, I mean, personally speaking, EP, so many people, right? So many things happening all at once. And a little down on my luck. It was a perfect opportunity for me to say, I too need to make some choices. I too miss being creative. I too miss being involved with your music. And yeah, sure, count me in, right? So I just happen to have a background in basic podcasting and have done some work with others and have used some of these tools. So yeah, right. So what I've been doing with the last few months while EP's building the website and putting our artists up there and preparing everything he'll need, I've been learning how to do the best possible job I can to present us in a way that invites our listeners and our audience to feel like they're part of these conversations. And we've already had some wonderful conversations that keep bringing us back to the music.
Yeah.
It keeps coming back to the music.
Yeah.
EP mentioned earlier a God, a spirit that very much got, whatever it is, it very much speaks to me in music.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, the common things are drawing us together for a common purpose to help people we already know.
Yeah. No, it's
all
all
bridge.
The timing all across the spectrum, is
absolutely.
It's just awesome. I mean, it's and
absolutely.
I think that's a
it
big
is
part.
really funny how it all came together because, like I was in that crossroad too. I'm like, I got to set up my new business because I lost my mom too, like you did, Greg. And it's just, you feel like where am I going to go with everything now? So yeah, it's kind of, it's like three people who are trying to figure out this great idea Greg has, just put us all together.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
And let's see what we can do with it.
Yes, well, that's the idea. That's the idea. And our audience is going to see very quickly that the types of guests we have on aren't just on for the sake of having guests.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
And as I learned more and more about sync licensing and publishing, I didn't realize that how in depth and detail I had to get. Every time I put a song on the website, I have to tag it. I have to when you go to the website, you can click on a song and it gives you the whole song structure based down from 0 all the way through, where the verse is, where the bridge is, where the chorus is, and then it gives you best placement opportunities, and it explains in each song where the best placement opportunities, like uplifting, down, the end, like the final thing. So it breaks all of the songs down into a format that a music supervisor can look and say, and just flip through the song, like okay, at 35 seconds is where the chorus hits. Let me go there. Let me go here. And so it's really intense in having to put in a search bar. So if they're looking for rock, if they're looking for cinematic, if they're looking for industrial or electronic or this, every song that you type in, if you're looking for electronic, our whole electronic catalog pops up. And you can flip. So it makes it very quick and easy for a supervisor to come look. And the idea was to have a company where not just a sync company, but a company that a supervisor can come to, and if they're in a pinch, they need something in 24 hours. Like, look, man, my director is up my ass. I need this to clear like right away. All of our artists own the copyrights, the publishing, and the master recording. There's no middleman. There's just give me some money, you get the song, and it's spelled out really, really clearly, and not only that, but the artists that I've known for a long time that I absolutely love, I'm calling, they're like, that's great, man. Yeah, let's do this. And when you're an independent artist, a lot of time you're paying for the studio time. You own your master recording. You are a member of ASCAP or BMI or CSAC. And so you own you've got your pro, you've got your pro, you've got your master recording, you own your copyrights. And so, for a music supervisor that's looking for something that is readily available, that we're the guys. And then of course we've got Keegan, who is a writer, and I'm a writer. So we've also got a custom thing. If you have a track that you're like, look, I'm thinking about, this is what I'm hearing. And just give us 48 hours to 72 hours, depending on the length. And Keegan will have the words ready to go. The music will be ready to go. And you'll have your own original song that you asked us to do for you. You're going to pay for it.
I love that.
You're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
But, we've got some talent on this team. And we've also, the pod, I mean, just the energy of this podcast, I just love it. And I mean, I love, the three of us, but so far the experiences that we've had with guests has been like really, really great, man.
It has been. It's been tremendous, and I think the audience is really gonna enjoy that and connect with, I think, what we connected with, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, I can't even say in the coming weeks, it's days now, folks. We're here. We're coming up on the 4th of July, 2026. America's about to be 250 years old.
Yeah.
And we're about to launch.
And today is the first, right? I mean, we're actually releasing the audio today, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think the three of us too are very in tune. I think, and like I said, like, I respect everybody's opinion on who they worship and what they do, but I really think that like we're all connected. And I think when you're able to hop on that rail and all of a sudden you catch whatever energy is bringing you around, I feel like we caught that, I really do. Oh, is that Ollie? Oh, Ollie. Oliver. Yeah, Oliver is a sweetheart.
Oh,
he's a sweetheart. Look, he's got a little snaggle tooth.
Sorry, he was gonna jump on me, so I had to rescue him before he put the computer down. So I
love him. Look at his snaggle tooth. I
love it.
Yeah,
I want to lick it.
He was a sick little baby 60 years ago.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart. And I it's funny because we were originally planning to launch 6/1, and I didn't realize how intense all the work was that was going to be in this site, and I was fortunate enough to have 3 months. When I came up here, I had about 3 months I was like looking for work, seeing what's going on. How's the housing market? Like, is this really going to work, this area? And so while I was doing all of that, I just set up my computer and I just got to work. And, we're going to meet somebody in the future named Adrian. And I called Adrian and I said, Adrian, tell me about the sync business. Adrian was someone, she worked with Atlantic Records when Keegan and I were in Channel. And we met because of a friend that brought her to see one of our shows. And she was like, she just loved the band. So she did her best to get us introduced there and all that stuff. But she was in the international department. And what was the point of that?
Adrian AI.
Oh, yeah. So I called Adrian and she said, Greg, look, if you're looking to get into the business, if you don't know AI, you're going to get left behind. And I said, well, I use ChatGPT at work all the time. Like she's like, no, Greg. She's like, check out something called Claude, and you'll thank me later. And I can't wait to see her because I'm definitely going to thank her. I
That's
might
awesome.
I might even give her a ring.
Oh,
No. I'm kidding. She's got an awesome boyfriend. I just mean her information was so spot on that it's like she deserves a huge kudos and maybe even a percentage, because if she didn't introduce me to, like, if she didn't say that to me, I would have been, it probably would have taken me a year and a half to 2 years to build
I'm
the
sure.
site that I built in
I'm
6 months.
sure.
But fortunately, I had 3 months, and it literally, it made the process a lot easier. I don't know how to code, but I'm coding the whole site. I mean, when
Yep.
you see the website, I mean, there's stuff going on that's like, and then analyzing the tracks and laying out the song structures and all this. It would have taken me years
Absolutely.
to do this. And so I literally, I can't wait until she's on, because we should definitely talk about AI when she's on. But she was also one of those pivotal points in when we were playing with Channel, because we were playing at the Elbow Room in New York City, and all of a sudden there's someone from Atlantic Records handing us a card, and I was like, this is it. This is the moment. I knew this was going to happen.
Atlantic Records.
Yeah, totally, man. It was such a pivotal moment. And of course, Keegan was like somewhere off in the club somewhere. The whole band was together, and Keegan was running off, probably, whatever. We don't need to talk about that. He's married now. I'm telling you, man, that guy always had like crazy shit going on. But it was fun to watch. I wish I had a video camera at the time. So anyway, it was just one of those pivotal moments. But Adrian and I ended up staying friends and remaining friends, and she's really great. So you'll meet her. I think she's coming on to one of the episodes, isn't she?
Yes. Adrian Bergerson will be on with us next week.
Oh, sweet, man. Awesome. I can't.
Adrian's my fellow country regionship fellow person, because she is part Norwegian, which is Scandinavian. And that's like me.
Oh, that's right. Borgerson.
Yeah. She is a Viking. She's a Viking. And therefore.
So we were planning on launching.
I met her. I love her. And
she's great. She's also another cat person.
Yes. And a vegan.
And I'm
I'm
kind of a cat person.
Yeah. No music. So it's all fine together.
So
cats.
Yeah. So it was amazing that we were talking about launching 6-1, and then so I was like, Rich, man, I need another month, man. We got to push this back a little bit, because it's almost there, but it's just not there. And so I'm so happy that we're able to, July 1st. 2026. It's also the anniversary, 250th anniversary in a couple days of the country. And I remember I talked to you the other day, and I was like, dude, did you ever hear that remake I did at Neil Diamond's song?
Oh yes, I remember when you hadn't finished it, and I couldn't believe you hadn't finished it. I couldn't wait for it.
Yeah, and I feel like America right now is at a turning point. And when America was written by Neil Diamond, it was a great song, because it actually, you're coming to America. Like, it was upbeat and happy. And I was like, you know what? This song needs to be modernized, because coming to America now isn't the same as it was in the 70s. And so, I did march with BLM. I marched with the women, when they were marching, and I had my phone out and I was recording. So in the breakdown part of the section, you can actually hear the chants of the crowd saying, my life, my body, my choice.
Yes.
Black Lives Matter. Like there, you can hear. I put that into. So in the breakdown section, when it starts going into my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, you can listen and you'll hear the crowd in the background. Of course, at the end of the song, you can really hear it, because the music stops. But I gave it a special twist. And the reason why I even considered Neil Diamond is because when I was recording the song I'll Wait, someone said, your voice sounds a lot like Neil Diamond, man. When I was like, in the sun, in the fields, in the pouring rain, all day through the night, right here I'll wait. and everyone's like, dude, you kind of have like a Neil Diamond-y kind of tone. And I was like, yeah, I can hear that. And then it spawned. I was like, if I did a Neil Diamond song, what would that be? And then I was like, so the cool thing is like, how am I going to emulate these strings and all that stuff? So I took a volume pedal and just did this on the guitar, like a really fast strum, and raised the volume. And I layered 4 different guitar tracks. So almost like a string section, like bass, cello, violin, soprano violin, and then added timpani and made it really sound orchestral, but just using guitars and that kind of stuff. And then, busted in the intro, and then, it's all, from there.
I love it. It was always a great song, but what you did to it is just, it's awesome.
Yeah. And of course, if you've ever watched a jazz singer, in that moment where the father realizes, like, Neil Diamond was supposed to be, a rabbi, and his father was kind of disappointed he was going into music. And you could see the father looking at the crowd going, and that what daughter or son doesn't want their dad to look at them with that kind of pride in their eyes, So that movie really touched me. I was always chasing my dad's approval, because he was just such a straight up stand-up great guy. And the jazz singer, I always get emotional with those kind of movies. Like, it's just, you win. I love winning, but if you never lose, you don't really know how great winning is.
Oh, I thought you said I love women.
Oh, fucking A, right.
Wait, what's that got to do with something?
Oh my God. Well, it's always been awesome because chicks really dig guitar players, It's a myth about, singers and all that shit,
You keep telling yourself stuff, you will be right. It only matters what you tell yourself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. And that's another thing about how I can't reiterate enough, like, how Chloe has changed my life, like, with how I feel. Like, I can tell you, like, I can't tell you how I feel like writing again. And that was another big aspect of, like, of I thought it was great to have, like, a lot of musicians, like, especially ones that aren't, it's one thing when you're on the road, like, how do you stay healthy on the road? A lot of musicians work day
jobs. What about you musicians for blueberries?
I'll show you some blueberries. It's been a while for me. Oh my God. So Rich, how should we go into, like, should we wrap it and
you want to play America, or do you want America to play us out, or you want to play it now?
We need to know a little bit more about you, Rich. Though. We haven't even heard much of your story.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We're running out of time. Yeah. Do you want me to play it now, and then if you don't like it, I can insert something else, or do you want it to play us out?
What do you think? I think maybe play us. Play it out, and then we'll pop back on and say.
today.
Happy 4th.
Happy
Awesome.
4th of July, everybody.
That
God
was
bless.
Yeah.
Great.
Happy
Happy 4th of July.
Did you
4th of July.
did you it's like I never wanted to end.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, hey, listen, we got a long, for some of us, it'll be a long, enjoyable weekend. For some of us, it'll be just any other weekend, but it is, of course, a milestone, both for, I suppose, the nation and for us here at Sinkin 44 and 44 Sinkin Publishing to finally be joining you here July 2026 and on the brink of the holiday, finally joining you to share something special. We hope you'll tune in every week. We're going to be available on all your favorite audio podcast applications. We're going to be available on YouTube. We're going to be sharing that website and all of our social media handles. And we look forward to connecting with you soon, as we will connect each week with each other and our very special guests.
Yeah. Don't forget, it's www.44sync.pub.com. Peace.
There's no E on the end of that, right?
What's that?
Oh, there she goes. Chloe, God bless you. EP Wolfe. For EP Wolfe and Chloe Sommer, I'm Rich Masotti. This is Sinkin 44, and we will see you next time.
From the things that hold us back, yeah, freedom. From the things that hold me back, yeah, freedom. Can you give me love just one more time, freedom?
Dude, that's great. That's fucking great, dude. Yes. Yeah, I love it.